What I find fascinating about Hogarth was that he actually started telling stories through a series of paintings. There's a narrative going on, and I think he was just way ahead of his time. He started something new, and he started this whole idea of satirical paintings, and I think he's sort of the father of it all. My name is Bouke de Vries. I'm Dutch. I've been in London for 40 years, and now I'm making art using historical broken ceramics. People give me things to restore, and so I started looking at these objects that are broken, and I started giving them a new narrative and a new story. I have so many inspirations in my work, and I don't focus on one thing in particular, but Hogarth is there always in the background. Taste in High Life has a lot of humor. There's so much crammed into one painting. You really need to read a painting. The first time I saw Hogarth's works was about 38 years ago, and that was during my first visit to the Soane Museum. When you go into the picture room and they open the cupboard doors in which the paintings sit, it was just magical. I was approached by the Soane Museum to create a work inspired by something from the collection, and I chose the Rake's Progress because I do like the story so much. I wanted to tell the Rake's Progress story in a different way that reflected my work, telling the story through 8 vases, but using my techniques of restoration and exploding ceramics as metaphors for each painting. I start with a perfect vase, and it ends up in all broken in fragments in a glass replica of the vase when he's in the madhouse. Not many happy endings in Hogarth's paintings. Taste in High Life is a very humorous painting as opposed to the darker story of the Rake's Progress, but it's a sort of themes that Hogarth's addressed in a lot of his paintings, and it's really poking fun at people's fancy ways, especially clothing. It's set in a room, and the center character, the old lady in an extravagant gown, there is the gentleman to the right, all fancy dressed and bowing in front of her. There's another lady in the back with her dresses so big and so extravagant that it doesn't really fit in the room, and it rides up at the back. Then there's all little small references to gambling. She's also looking at this tea bowl as if it's the most important thing in the world. There's so much detail, and they all have meaning. They all tell stories. There's paintings in the background. They have a meaning. There's a monkey, which is sort of like exemplifies the foolishness of mankind. So it's all about riches and fripperies. I love his irony, I love his satire, and I like to slip things into my work like that as well. I think humor is very important.